Imagine a world without onions. Hard to picture, right? This humble vegetable, often overlooked in the produce aisle, is the backbone of countless dishes. From sizzling fajitas to slow-simmered soups, from burgers at a backyard barbecue to the crispy onion rings that pair perfectly with a cold soda, onions quietly bring flavor, depth, and richness to our meals. They make us tear up when we slice them, but they also make our taste buds sing when they're caramelized, roasted, or fried. Without onions, food as we know it would simply fall flat. But have you ever stopped to wonder where this essential ingredient really comes from? How it transforms from a tiny seed planted in the soil into that golden brown, perfectly fried topping on your cheeseburger. Today we're taking you on a journey into the fascinating world of onion production, exploring its history, its cultivation, the remarkable technology behind farming it at scale, and the surprising ways it shapes both our kitchens and our culture. The story of onions is as layered as the vegetable itself. Their history stretches back more than 5,000 years, with roots in some of the world's earliest civilizations. Ancient Egyptians not only consumed onions but revered them, believing the circular layers symbolized eternal life. Workers who built the pyramids were famously paid in onions as part of their wages. Imagine getting onions as your paycheck today. In Greece, onions were thought to enhance strength and stamina, so athletes would consume them before competing in the Olympic Games. By the Middle Ages, onions had become so valuable in Europe that they weren't just food, they were a form of currency. People paid rent with onions and even offered them as wedding gifts. It wasn't until explorers and settlers crossed the Atlantic that onions took root in the Americas, quickly becoming a staple in the diets of colonists and eventually spreading across farms nationwide. Today, the United States is one of the top onion producers in the world, growing billions of pounds every year. But how exactly does an onion go from seed to the supermarket shelf? The process is more high-tech and fascinating than most people realize, blending age-old farming traditions with modern agricultural innovation. It all begins with seed selection and planting. Picture a cool spring morning on a vast farm in California, Texas, or Washington, three of America's onion-growing giants. Farmers rise with the sun, ready to plant seeds that will eventually yield millions of bulbs. Industrial planting machines, equipped with multiple mechanical arms, place each seed with exact precision into carefully prepared soil. Spacing is critical, usually 10 to 15 centimeters apart, to give the bulbs room to grow. Within a few weeks, tiny green shoots poke up from the ground, a hopeful sign of the harvest to come. There are more than 600 types of onions worldwide, from sweet Vidalia onions to sharp red ones and pungent yellow varieties. Each has its own personality, flavor profile, and best use in cooking. Whether you prefer them raw and crunchy in a salad, golden and crispy on a burger, or caramelized into sweetness for French onion soup, there's an onion for every palate. As the months roll by, farmers carefully monitor the crop. Weather plays a huge role in the final product. Too much rain and the bulbs may rot, too much heat and they may dry out. After about 3 to 4 months, the onions signal that they're ready for harvest. Their green tops begin to yellow, bend, and fall over, a natural sign that the bulb has matured underground. Early fall is harvest season, and massive machinery roars to life in the fields. These harvesters are designed with precision blades that gently loosen the soil and lift the onions from the earth without crushing or cutting them. It's a delicate operation because damaged bulbs won't store well. As the onions are lifted, they travel up conveyor belts, where vibrating systems or blasts of air remove dirt and debris. Imagine watching thousands of onions tumbling along a belt, gleaming in the sun, fresh from the earth. On a single acre, a farmer can harvest up to 25,000 pounds of onions. That's enough to make hundreds of thousands of onion rings, blooming onions, or caramelized topping for pizzas and burgers across the country. Once harvested, the onions are transported to massive processing facilities where cleaning and sorting begin. They're first passed over vibrating screens that shake off soil and small stones. High-tech optical sensors scan the bulbs to detect imperfections, sorting out onions that are misshapen or damaged. It's incredible to see how much of this process is automated today, with machines that can analyze thousands of onions per minute. Yet, human workers still play an important role, inspecting batches for quality control. After all, nobody wants a moldy or bruised onion in their grocery bag. The best onions are graded by size. Small ones may end up in frozen meal kits or as ingredients for sauces, while larger, picture-perfect onions are packed and sent directly to grocery stores. Before they're ready to ship, onions often undergo a curing process. This involves allowing them to dry under carefully controlled conditions for several days or weeks. Curing toughens the papery outer skin, which helps preserve the onion and extend its shelf life. Properly cured onions can last for months in storage, meaning they can be harvested in the fall but sold well into the winter. In massive warehouses, you'll find mountains of onions stacked in bins, with fans and ventilation systems keeping the air circulating to prevent rot. It's a scene that truly demonstrates the scale of modern agriculture. Millions of onions waiting to find their way into kitchens, restaurants, and factories that transform them into everything from soup mixes to snack foods. The onion's journey doesn't end there. In the food industry, onions are processed in countless ways to meet consumer demand. Some are diced and frozen, perfect for quick cooking in busy American households. Others are dehydrated into onion flakes, granules, or powder, a staple seasoning in everything from barbecue rubs to instant ramen flavor packets. Then there are the beloved fried onions, from the crispy toppings sprinkled on Thanksgiving green bean casseroles to the golden onion rings served alongside burgers and fries at diners and fast food chains. Onion processing facilities are highly automated, with cutting machines, fryers, and dehydrators all working together to meet the demand for onion-based products in every corner of the U.S. Beyond the plate, onions are also valued for their health benefits. Packed with antioxidants, vitamins, and compounds with anti-inflammatory properties, onions have been used for centuries as natural remedies. While we may laugh at ancient Egyptians who used them for spiritual purposes, modern science has confirmed that onions can help support heart health, regulate blood sugar, and even boost immunity. No wonder they've remained a staple in diets worldwide for thousands of years. Of course, large-scale onion farming comes with challenges. Pests, diseases, and weeds are constant threats, so farmers use a mix of traditional practices and modern techniques to protect their crops. Crop rotation, soil management, and advanced irrigation systems all help reduce waste and improve sustainability. In recent years, more attention has been given to environmentally friendly farming practices, with farmers working to reduce chemical use, conserve water, and adopt eco-friendly technologies. Have you ever stopped to think about what happens to the onions you slice into your burgers, sauté for your soups, or toss into a sizzling pan of fajitas? In the U.S., onions aren't just an everyday kitchen staple, they're part of a fascinating story of farming, technology, and innovation that most of us never get to see. From vast onion fields stretching across states like California, Washington, and Idaho, to high-tech facilities where machines sort, peel, wash, and package them with incredible precision, the journey of onions is one of modern food production at its best. Behind every onion you bring home from the grocery store lies a process designed to ensure quality, freshness, and safety, while also keeping up with America's enormous appetite for this versatile vegetable. And with over 3 billion pounds of onions produced every year in the U.S. alone, the scale of this industry is simply astonishing. Once onions are harvested from the fields, they don't go straight into your kitchen. They first arrive at processing plants, where some of the most advanced automation in the food industry takes over. One of the most mesmerizing parts of this journey is sorting. Unlike in the past when workers relied on their eyes and hands to pick out damaged or undersized onions, today fully automated sorting systems use sieves, cameras, and sensors to handle this step at lightning speed. Imagine onions rolling down conveyor belts, bouncing across sieves with different-sized holes. The smaller ones fall through one set of holes, while medium and large onions continue forward until each finds its proper category. But size isn't the only factor. High-resolution cameras and image processing technology scan every onion for color, blemishes, and quality. This means that damaged or substandard onions are quickly identified and separated, ensuring only the very best make it to the next stage. For consumers, this kind of precision guarantees consistent quality, but for the environment, it also reduces waste since substandard onions can still be reused for other purposes such as dehydrated onion flakes, animal feed, or composting. The benefits of this kind of automation are huge. By relying on technology, production efficiency skyrockets compared to manual sorting, allowing facilities to process massive quantities of onions in a fraction of the time. Accuracy is another advantage. Machines can detect imperfections in seconds that human eyes might miss after hours of repetitive work. And while this might seem like the end of the line for imperfect onions, many of them are given a second life. Some are repurposed in processed food products, while others are redirected to industries that create dehydrated onion powders or seasonings that end up in everything from potato chips to instant noodles. Even animal farmers sometimes benefit from what the fresh market rejects, proving that very little actually goes to waste in this tightly optimized system. After sorting, the onions move on to one of the most iconic steps in their journey, peeling and washing. If you've ever stood in your kitchen with tears streaming down your face while chopping onions, you'll appreciate just how important this part of the process is. Instead of workers spending hours peeling away tough onion skins, large-scale factories rely on automatic peeling machines that can handle thousands of onions per hour. Onions travel via conveyor belts into machines equipped with sharp blades and specialized knives that carefully slice away the papery outer skin. In some facilities, powerful jets of air or water help remove the skins entirely, leaving the onions perfectly clean without damaging their delicate layers. Once peeled, the onions are thoroughly washed in tanks filled with water, where high-pressure jets blast away dirt, dust, and any lingering debris from the field. This stage is crucial because onions grow underground, which means they arrive at the facility with soil still clinging to their skins. After washing, the onions are either air-dried naturally or passed through machines that use controlled airflow and temperature to dry them quickly and prepare them for the next step. At this point, many people wonder why onions make us cry in the first place. The answer lies in a compound called syn-propanethyl S-oxide, which is released when onion cells are broken during cutting. This compound triggers a reaction in our eyes, creating that burning sensation that leads to tears. Interestingly, processing plants often use controlled environments, proper ventilation, and automated cutting systems to minimize exposure, sparing workers from the same kitchen struggles we face at home. Some newer onion varieties even aim to reduce this effect, making them more appealing for both consumers and chefs. The final stage in the onion production process is packaging and distribution, and here again automation plays a leading role. Depending on the intended market, onions can be packaged in several forms: whole, sliced, or chopped. For pre-cut onions that save home cooks time in the kitchen, automatic packaging machines place the slices or cubes into sealed plastic bags or boxes, locking in freshness and protecting them from contamination. For whole onions, packaging typically involves durable mesh bags, plastic bags, or cartons that make transport easier while also protecting the onions from external environments. Each package is carefully labeled with key details such as product information, production date, and expiration date, ensuring transparency for consumers. Once packaged, onions are stacked into large boxes or crates and transported to distribution centers, where they make their way to grocery stores, restaurants, and even fast food chains across the country. It's worth pausing here to recognize just how massive the onion industry really is in the United States. With over 3 billion pounds produced annually, the U.S. ranks as one of the top onion producers in the world. American onions are exported globally, feeding demand not only in neighboring Canada and Mexico but also in countries across Europe and Asia. Domestically, onions play an essential role in cuisines from coast to coast, whether it's Southern barbecue with caramelized onions, Midwestern casseroles, or New York-style bagels topped with savory onion spread. Their versatility makes them one of the few vegetables found in nearly every American household year-round. However, producing onions at such a large scale doesn't come without environmental challenges. Like all agricultural practices, onion farming has an impact on the land, water, and ecosystems. Farmers across the U.S. are increasingly adopting sustainable practices to minimize these effects. For example, many onion farms now use organic fertilizers instead of synthetic ones, reducing chemical runoff into local waterways. Integrated pest management systems help reduce pesticide use by relying on natural predators and crop diversity to control pests. Crop rotation is another strategy that farmers use to maintain soil health, preventing the depletion of nutrients that onions rely on for growth. Water conservation is also a major priority, especially in states where drought conditions are common. Advanced irrigation systems such as drip irrigation help deliver water directly to the onion roots, minimizing waste and preserving this critical resource. By embracing these eco-friendly methods, the onion industry is working toward a more sustainable future where production can meet demand without sacrificing the health of the planet. When you put all of these steps together, harvesting, sorting, peeling, washing, packaging, and distributing, you start to see just how much effort goes into ensuring that the onions on your plate are safe, fresh, and flavorful. It's a process that combines tradition with cutting-edge technology, efficiency with environmental responsibility. Next time you slice an onion for your homemade chili or grill one alongside your steak, you'll know that behind its layers lies a remarkable journey shaped by American innovation and hard work. From farmers in the fields to engineers designing automated machines, countless people contribute to the story of onions before they ever reach your kitchen counter. So the next time your eyes water while chopping onions, think of it as a small reminder of the long and fascinating journey that brought this humble vegetable from a farm to your table. It's a story of agriculture, science, and sustainability all wrapped up in one, proving that even something as ordinary as an onion has an extraordinary story to tell. And if you enjoyed this peek behind the curtain of food production, Make sure to stick around, because the world of modern farming and food technology is filled with even more stories that are just as surprising, satisfying, and worth sharing.